Hey everybody, welcome back to HomeRecordingMadeEasy.com and another installment of Questions and Coffee with David. This is where I get up bright and early in the morning. It is literally 5:22 a.m. on a Saturday morning, and I'm looking over all the questions that have come in over the last couple of days. I'm going to try to answer some of them in this video for you right now. But before we get to that, if you could do me a favor, hit that subscribe button below. It helps me out tremendously. Also go out to facebook.com/HomeRecordingMadeEasy, as I'm always posting content there that isn't always necessarily a part of YouTube. Follow me on Twitter, and if you want more tips, tricks, concepts, and training around all aspects of home recording, mixing, and mastering, please be sure to go out to HomeRecordingMadeEasy.com and check out the Made Easy series along with the Quick Mix series. It will help you make better music in your home studio, I promise. So now let's get on to this week's questions and start with question number 1. Okay, question number 1 comes in from Jason, and Jason writes in, I've been watching your videos and love your mental memory to great detail. I've been doing music and engineering and mastering since 1984, so I have a vast amount of knowledge. I just watched your Questions and Coffee episode on external drives. I have a PreSonus Studio One Professional, the latest update for 2017, and it's installed on my hard drive. So what I did was copied and pasted it to my external drive and doing my sessions from the external drive. So you are saying that all the VST and plugins that come with Studio One, leave them on my hard drive? And other VSTs like that use an iLok, they won't use space on my hard drive, correct? And when I do an update and copy onto my hard drive, will I have to perform the same Studio One on my external drive? Thanks, Jason. Okay, Jason, thanks for writing in. I think I get the gist of your question. So you might have misunderstood, or maybe I didn't explain it clearly enough in the last Questions and Coffee episode. So what it sounds like you did is not only are you running your Studio One sessions from your external hard drive, but you're also running the application Studio One from your external drive. And that's not what you want to do. What you want to do is you want to install or keep on your internal hard drive to your computer, whether it's Mac or PC, doesn't matter, the Studio One application, as well as all the plugins and all the VST instruments. Now, if you have a vast amount of, say, loop libraries and MIDI libraries and things like that, you can keep that on an external drive, but that's for another question. So you run the Studio One application from your internal drive, and you keep your plugins on your internal drive. The Studio One song session file, the .song file, that is the session you're going to run from the external drive. And that's how I do it in my studio. The applications are on my internal drive. The sessions are from my external drive, okay? This way, you're, especially as you get more and more recording sessions, depending on the size of your internal hard drive space, you're gonna run out of room very quickly. That's why I suggest running the sessions from an external drive, because those sessions can get quite large in file size. Okay, so that's what you want to do. Now, when you do your updates for your Studio One, you're just going to do it to your internal drive. Don't worry about the external drive. The external drive is just for the session files, along with all the audio and stuff that goes along with it. Keep your plugins, your VST instruments, and Studio One itself all on your internal drive. And that'll just keep things a little bit more simple, and it does in my mind anyway, and you won't have to worry about stuff back and forth. Now, as far as the iLok goes, yes, there are certain plugin manufacturers that make you use an iLok. It's totally cool. The iLok plugs into your computer, not into an external drive, and all your plugin licenses will sit on that. But the plugin itself is actually on the internal drive, the actual software for the plugin. What's on the iLok is the license, I believe, not the plugin. It's the license to use the plugin, okay? So, and again, you can double check that with iLok, but I think that's how it works. And my iLok is plugged right into my, my hard drive on my Mac, and everything works fine. So I hope that answers your question, Jason. Thanks for writing in, and now let's head on over to question number 2. Okay, question number 2 comes in from Kyle, and Kyle writes in, Hi Dave, I watch your videos on YouTube and they are great. Well, thanks Kyle, I appreciate that. Thank you for all your help. My question is, I have an Apollo Duo and I wanted to buy a Studio Live 32 Series 3 mixer. Since the faders won't work as a controller for my DAW, will I be missing a lot of functions if I go with 2 Apollo interfaces and an Icon Pro X controller rather than a Studio Live 32? Thanks, Kyle. Well, thanks, Kyle, for writing in. Well, the thing with the Icon Pro X, I looked into that a little bit. That only has, I believe, 8 faders on it, right? I don't believe it has more than that. Correct me if I'm wrong on that. So you could go with 2 Apollo Duos if you wanted to for the input side. And I'm not sure if you're talking about the 4-channel or the 8-channel input. So if you wanted, say, 8 or 16 channels, you can get 2 Apollo Duos that have, I think they only have 4 inputs each, unless you get the new ones, the new Universal Audio Apollo 8s. Those, I believe, have 8 inputs. So let's say you can get 2 of those at 16 channels of input. That might be plenty. But the Icon Pro, it only has 8 physical faders. So I'm sure there's a bank button so you can bank over to the next 8. You could probably do that. But if that's the case, you may even be better off with just a PreSonus fader port 8. Again, you have to compare the two. I'm not too familiar with the Icon Pro. I looked at it quickly when I saw your question. So that would work, certainly. But the Studio Live 32, in the near future, hopefully, they're going to be coming out with the firmware update that'll allow you to control Studio One, just like the Icon Pro or like the Fader Port 8, just a big, with 32 physical faders. And that's really what I'm excited about. But that hasn't happened yet. So would you lose a lot of functionality? No, I think you can do that, but I also believe if you buy 2 Apollo 8-channel interfaces like the Apollo 8s, even though they're duos, you buy 2 of those with the Icon Pro, you're probably looking at more money than a Studio Live 32, I think. I'm not sure. I guess it really depends. How quickly do you need it to control your DAW? If you're able to wait a little bit and you really want the Studio Live 32 Series 3, then I would say wait. If you got to have it right away, what you're suggesting will work. Again, just make sure that the Icon Pro X does everything you want it to do. Now, the other mixer you can look at, which I looked at before I got the Studio Live, which was the Allen and Heath, I think it's called the QU32. That's their version of the Series 3 or the Studio Live mixer. And from what I understand, that already controls any DAW like a Surface Control. So if you're looking for something right away, that might be something to look into. The way I looked at that mixer, it looked almost all the same functionality as the PreSonus Studio Live Series 3. Touchscreens, the whole deal. So check out the Allen and Heath. I think they're right around the same money, and that might be a way to solve your issue as well. So Kyle, thanks again for writing in. I hope that answers your questions. Any more questions, be sure to send in another question. I'll be glad to help you. Now let's move on to question number 3. Okay, last question for this video comes in from YouTube, and the name is Goat Fint Roller. And Goat Fint Roller writes in, I'm just starting the questions and coffee videos. Awesome idea, by the way. And I have a question regarding the last question you answered in a video about recording through compression. I have been saving effects chains for each instrument and genre of music I'm recording at the time. Those effects chains I've saved have compression that I've tweaked to my liking during the mix down, and I adjust to taste if I feel it needs it. Is recording through compression on the input side going to have a noticeable difference or benefit as compared to the way I do it, which is after the fact? I would imagine you can't adjust the input compression after recording, so you could add more compression afterwards if needed. Thanks again for taking the time to make these videos for the world. I have Mixing Made Easy, and it has made the world a difference. Well, Goat Fint Roller, thank you so much for picking up Mixing Made Easy. I'm glad it's helping you, and for watching the questions and coffee videos. These videos have become extremely popular, which kind of took me by surprise. I can't believe people, really like them that much. But hey, if they're helping, that's why I'm doing it. So that's really cool. So to answer your question is, yes, you can add more compression after the fact, even though you compressed on the way in on the input side if you choose to. But you're also correct that if you over compress on the way in, you can't take it away. And that's some of the downfall. So the way you're doing it right now with saving effects change and just applying the compression to your genre of music and instrument at mixing works just fine. There's nothing wrong with what you're doing. Is compressing on the way in going to help you even more? Well, that depends. The short answer is yes, it could, depending on what you're recording. So like, for example, if you have a vocal that's very dynamic, lots of high points and low points, and you look at that audio wave file in your DAW and you see that it's really spiky all over the place, using something like compression on the way in is going to help even out that performance. So it gives you a little bit of an easier time at mixing. I do this all the time. But I only compress lightly on the way in, maybe 3-4 dB of compression. That's really it. I don't want to squash it too much because like you said, once you have it on there, you can't take it away. So recording with compression and even EQ on the way in is a good idea to help you commit to the sound at recording. It makes the mixing job a little bit easier, a little bit more speedy. But you have to be careful that you don't overcompress. So the way you're doing it is fine. I would say experiment with compression on the way in, and again, just do light compression. Things like vocals, acoustic guitars, where they're strumming an acoustic guitar and there's lots of dynamics. It's a good way to even out that performance. Other instruments like bass guitar that might be a little bit less dynamic, depending on the way the player is playing, there may not be a need for compression. But my rule of thumb is on recording just about anything on the way in, I'm always compressing it just a little bit. Again, about 2 to 3 dB, and you should be fine. You know, experiment. It can't hurt to experiment. But again, once you over-compress on the way in, you can't take it away, so keep that in mind. So thank you, Goat Fit Roller, for writing in. I really do appreciate it. If you have any more questions, you could certainly write in, and I'll be happy to help you. So that's it for this week's episode of Questions and Coffee with David. I hope you had your cup of coffee along with me, and you enjoy these videos. If you want one of your questions answered in an upcoming episode, please write in to info@homerecordingmadeeasy.com. That's info@homerecordingmadeeasy.com, and I will feature your question in an upcoming segment of Questions and Coffee. And once again, please hit that subscribe button. Share these videos with others that may not be aware of who Home Recording Made Easy or I am. It really does help me out a lot. Go out to Facebook and give me the thumbs up and like me on Facebook. Follow me on Facebook if you would. Same thing with Twitter. All these things help me out tremendously, and it allows me to continue to make this free content for you. And once again, if you want more in-depth training, things that are not on my YouTube channel, head on over to homerecordingmadeeasy.com and be sure to check out all the training products I have there. They're super affordable, and they will absolutely help you bring your mixes to the next level. I really do promise that. They are excellent training products, and I think you'll really enjoy them. So until the next Questions and Coffee video, this has been David with homerecordingmadeeasy.com, and I will speak to you guys all soon. Take care.